Hi, so my name is Rebs Curtis-Moss and I'm going to be talking you through today how you can get the most out of Canva to create some amazing graphics for your charity, for Giving Tuesday and for every other day of the year as well. So let's start off by talking about what Canva actually is, what we can do with it before we actually move on to Giving Tuesday. So first off, a little bit about me. I have a background in digital communications and fundraising, and I've worked for a variety of charities in a range of strategic and practitioner roles, including children's hospices across Scotland, Friends of the Earth, and most recently, the RNLI. And I'm currently working with Shelter England as their interim social media manager. So launched in 2013, Canva is an online design and publishing tool with a mission to empower everyone in the world to design anything and to publish anywhere. Now, some of the benefits of using Canva are that number one, it's completely free for charities to use. And number two, you don't have to download any software or have a fancy laptop or a computer to use it. All you need is an internet connection. Now, Canva does in fact have two versions. It has a free version and it has a paid for version for businesses called Canva Pro. And this offers a lot more functionality, including access to things like an impressive array of stock photography, videos, and animations too. But do not worry. Before you think, I don't have the budget for that, Canva actually has a non-profits program, which offers registered charities around the world completely free access to Canva Pro. Now, the application takes around 10 minutes to complete, and it's usually very quick to be approved in my experience. And what I'll do is I'll share a link to how you get to the non-profit program application page at the end of this video. And that's why today we're going to be running through the paid for rather than the free version. So if you're currently using the free version of Canva and you want to upgrade, make sure you upgrade and your application goes through before you continue watching. Now, with templates for pretty much every single type of design you could possibly imagine and tens of thousands of ready-made designs, you don't have to be a graphic designer to use Canva by any stretch of the imagination. There's also an app, and that means that if you're at an event or you have a sudden strike of inspiration when you're on the bus to work, you can create, edit, and download these designs on the go. And this is particularly useful if you're at an event and want to post graphics on social media in real time. Now, assuming that a lot of you that are watching this are either currently using the free version of Canva, you've not used Canva Pro before, you have limited knowledge of how to use it, or in fact, you've never used it before in your life, but you want to get started, we're going to start with all the basics you're going to need to make fantastic graphics, images, and videos on Canva. Now, one of the great things about Canva Pro is that you can create something called a brand kit on the platform. Now, what this means is that you can upload your logos, your custom fonts, and your colours, so that when you come to create a design, which we're going to run through in a little while, everything's already branded up for you and ready to go. Now, next up, we're going to look at how you can create a team using Canva Pro. So in the Canva Pro non-profit account, you can have up to 10 people in your team, and each one has their own login details. Now, you can set different permissions for each user. There are 3 different types of permissions. If we quickly run through those, administrators can set up and edit brand kits, as well as being able to add and remove team members and set their permissions. Template designers can create templates for others to use, and members can create designs using preset brand kits and templates. Okay, so now that we've covered some of the basics in Canva, we're going to look at creating a design together. So what do we need to do to get started? Well, we need to go to the home page of Canva, which is the page that we're on, which is canva.com. If you're on any other page, you just hit home and that's going to take you to this page. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to pick a size, pick a type of project. So really you have to first decide what you want to make. Now, Canva has literally thousands upon thousands of different templates for different types of documents. You can see a couple of examples down here in terms of the types of things that they offer. But just as a kind of starter for 10, some of the templates that they offer include an A4 poster, a calendar, a presentation, which is what I've actually used to create this presentation and video today. Also, it has pretty much every single social media platform, all the different formats. So, for example, banners for social media platforms, but also different post sizes. So, an Instagram reel, an Instagram story, an Instagram post. Literally anything that you're going to want to do for your charity is going to be on here. If it's not, there is a way around that, which is going to custom size. So you can hit on custom size at any point. If you have specific dimensions and you don't want to use the template, you can stick these in here and away you go. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to use the template. So for the sake of argument, let's say we're looking to make an Instagram post. So let's go and type Instagram into the search bar. So what we're going to want to do is click on Instagram post square. And that is going to take us to this page. Now, this page has lots of different templates on it. Technically, you could pick from one of these templates if you want. If you've got a very specific idea of what you want to do, you might want to do that. In my case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to create a blank Instagram post, because I personally find the blank posts a lot easier to brand up and to not fall foul of your organization's brand guidelines. So let's hit create a blank Instagram post. So that is going to take us to this page. And as you can see, we're all good to go. If you change your mind and you think, actually, I do want to use one of these templates, all the templates are still available in this bar here, and you can even search for more if you want to. But like I say, I'm going to start from scratch for this example. So the first thing we're going to look at is we are going to look at images. So let's say, for example, that you want to use an image that your organization already has. So in my case, these are all the images that I have already uploaded onto Canva. But let's say I want to use an image of this lady running for shelter. So because I've already uploaded it, I don't need to upload it again. Let's hit the image and it's going to pull it into the design. So then what we're going to do is we're going to just make that image bigger. We're going to drag and drop so that it fits the size. Now what we've got is an image of this lady. However, you might find that you don't have an image and you want to use stock images. Now, the good thing about Canva is that Canva has absolutely thousands of free stock photos and stock videos as well. So if it was a video you were wanting to post, they also do stock videos, which can be really handy. The one thing I'd say is just bear in mind that you don't want to have an over-reliance on stock images or videos. You want to use your own charities property when it comes to assets whenever you can, provided, of course, that you have permissions of the appropriate people to use those images and videos. Let's say, however, we don't have a picture of Lottie. I'm going to delete Lottie. We're going to go to photos. So say I wanted a picture of a woman running. I'm going to search for that and see what comes up. And as you can see, there are loads and loads of pictures of women running. However, none of them are branded up as your charity. So again, it's always better to have an actual picture of an actual runner where you can. Let's say for the sake of argument, we want to use this picture. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to sort of drag it about just so that I can get that person centralized into that picture. So that's how you get a stock image. Let's say, for example, you are wanting to do a video. So instead of going to photos, we're going to go to videos. So let's search for women running. This is probably not quite the vibe we want to be going for. We want someone probably dressed a little bit sportier than this. But for the sake of argument, let's just delete this stock image and put the stock video in. So as you can see, this has pulled the video into the design. And what we want to do here is, again, just like with the images, we want to drag this across so that it's going to fit into the square. Other things that you can do with videos is you can crop how long they run for. So if you want it to be a shorter video, say you wanted it to be 6 seconds rather than the full 15, it's quite easy to change that. And that's one of the great things about Canva, is that it is super easy to use and really user friendly. So that's your own videos, your own photos, your stock photos, and your stock videos as well. But let's move on to some graphics as well. So I'm just going to delete the stock video for now. Let's say you want to add some text in. So I'm going to go back to the photo that I originally used in my uploads. I'm going to stick this one in because for me, this is the best choice of image rather than using something stock photography, because it's a photo of an actual runner and it's got the shelter branding in it already. So what I'm going to want to do next is I'm going to want to add some text. So let's say I've already got all of my fonts kind of uploaded already in my brand kit. So let's just go to add a heading. Oh my goodness, that's enormous. Let's just make that a little bit smaller. I wanted to use the word run or running, something of that nature. Let's just change. As you can see, you can change the font as well. So let's change this to a different font, which is within our brand guidelines. Let's say run for home. Now, as you can see, it's quite difficult to see that text. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add something in called an element. So if you go to elements, that's going to give you the option to add in a block. And it will become apparent in a second why I'm doing that. I'm just going to add that block in. I'm going to drag this up like so, and like so. And as you can see, by doing this, it makes the wording a lot more visible. Just going to change some of these colors. There we go. Now, what you might think is actually that obscures this person's face. We don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the text and the block down to here. Or if with your mouse you highlight both things at once, you can move them both as one item. So we're going to move this down like this, have it down here. Now, one other thing that you can do is you can change how transparent this image is. So you go to the three dots up here. While you've clicked on the element, you click on transparency, and then you toggle that accordingly. So this means that you can still, it means that you can basically see the wording better, but it's not completely blocked out in black, so you can still see what's behind it as well. And it's up to you how much of a complete block of color you want that to be versus how transparent you want that to be. But for me, I'm quite happy with that image. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit the share button. So there's a couple of things that I can do here. The first one is I can share this design with other people in my organization. So for example, let's just say that I wanted to share this with someone in the social media team. I'm going to share this with my colleague Spike. Because Spike's already added to my team, he appears when I put his name in. Obviously, if you've not added someone to your team yet, they're not going to appear. You get the option, as you would if you were in the likes of OneDrive or Office 360, get the option to edit, comment, or just view. So if you're a bit worried that someone might mess the design up and you don't have another copy, you might want to put this as comment or can view rather than can add edit. But I trust that Spike's not going to do that. So I'm going to hit Spike Whitney. Add a little message in. If you don't type it quite like that. You can add more people in if you want as well. So let's add another member of my team in. So 2 people. Oh my goodness, I cannot type today. What I would do at that point is I'm then going to send, I'm going to hit send on that. I'm not actually going to do that because I don't want my colleagues to get a random email out of the blue about this design that they know nothing about. What you would do is you would hit send. They would then receive an email from Canva saying Rebs wants to has shared a design with you. They'd then hit look at design. And then off the back of that, they'd then be able to look at this design. If they've got editing permission, they'd be able to do make all the same changes as I would. So for example, if they were like, I don't like that word, let's change that to fight for home, or let's add, let's use a different image. Let's use this video instead. They would be able to do all of that themselves. As you can see, I'm just gonna hit the back button for those things. Another thing that they'll be able to do is they'll be able to add comments. So a little bit like track changes, someone would be able to add a comment in saying, I really like this. My goodness. that's myself that's commented that, but then someone else would be able to reply to that. So again, it kind of works a little bit like track changes, where you can see who's said what, and it makes collaborating on projects really, really easy. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, I'm now happy with this design, and I want to save this design, and I want to post it onto Instagram. So what am I going to do next? So I'm going to hit share again, and this time I'm going to go to download. So in download, you get a number of options as to how you want to download it, like what format you want to download it in. So for an image, I would suggest either a JPEG or a PNG. I'm going to go with a PNG for this. I'm going to hit download, and that is going to download really quickly for me. Another important point is you can change the name of this. If you do that, it's going to download with the correct image, with the correct name as well, which is always good. And yeah, that's how you make a design. And here are some examples of the amazing things that people are making using Canva across the charity sector. So if we start from left to right, we've got an Instagram story from Shelter promoting a fundraising product called Run for Home. Next up, we've got something from the Together Trust, which is to promote a challenge that they are running. And then finally, we've got an example from Scottish Autism, and this is a more kind of general post to encourage people to sign up to fundraise essentially by running for that charity. And as you can see, all of these are pretty simple designs. They all heavily kind of feature people in the foreground, which is a really important point to remember when you're creating assets of this nature. And the good thing about all of these is that they can then be used as templates for other designs to promote other events and other kind of fundraising products, which is really, really good. And that's what we like to see. And next up, let's have a look at what some charities are doing to create assets specifically for their supporters. So for people who are doing fundraising for them within their communities, otherwise known as, yes, community fundraisers. So we've got a couple of examples here. We've got one from Be Free Young Carers in Oxfordshire. And this is kind of more of a good luck post to someone who is doing a run for them. Next up, we've got someone, again, from the same charity who's doing the London Marathon. And again, that's to kind of promote their run and encourage others to sign up as well. And next up, we've got an example from Scottish Autism. And this is to thank people for their support and kind of featuring specific fundraisers and the activities that they're undertaking. And the reason that all of this is super, super important, again, is because it's personalised. You can easily use a template and just swap out images, swap out the text, but it really adds value to your supporters as well to see an image of themselves on their platform, on your platforms, or something that they can then go ahead and share on their platforms as well. Now, of course, not all of you who work for a charity are going to do a lot of community events or face-to-face fundraising. So Edinburgh Science Festival, for example, don't do a lot of kind of traditional forms of fundraising, and instead they use Canva a lot for their trusts and corporate fundraising materials, including creating proposals and funding reports like the one on screen. So let's now move on to talk about templates, why these are important, how you can use them at your charity, and how Shelter, where I am the interim social media manager, currently use these. Okay, so first off, we're going to want to know how to actually get to templates. So confusingly, on Canva, here it says templates. If you click on this, it's going to take you to entirely the wrong place. So this gives you Canva's templates. These are not the templates we want, so we're going to go back. So that is a common mistake people make. Do not click on templates. It's probably the only non-user-friendly thing that Canva have is this in the menu. Instead, you're going to want to go to team. So as you can see, our team is called social media team, because that's the team that I'm in at Shelter. I'm going to hit social media team, and this is going to take me kind of like to my team's homepage. So as you can see, it's got lots of different things in here. We've got designs, folders, templates, people, groups, settings. So for example, when you're setting permissions for people, this is the place that you would come. If you wanted to add new team members, again, this is the place you would come. If you want to see all the designs everyone on the team had made, this is where you come. But importantly as well, if you want to see all the templates that you have in your team, you are going to click templates here. Now, as you can see, at Shelter, we have a number of templates because we are the social media team. Our templates are mainly focused around social content. So, for example, we've got Twitter and Facebook newsfeed posts. We've got a video template. We've got Instagram grid, Instagram and Facebook stories, YouTube thumbnail. We've got a kind of reporting template, if you like, for kind of internal stuff. We've also got different banners for YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and last but not least, the humble LinkedIn post as well. So those are all the templates that we use. And the reason that we use templates and the reason these are super important is because if you're working in a team of more than a couple of people, things can get messy after a while. People can start going off on kind of tangents or not properly following brand guidelines. It's very hard to keep track of ensuring that everyone is following your brand guidelines and that everyone is creating content that kind of fits within those guidelines. So for us, we use templates as kind of a guidance for other people creating content for our social media channels. So people in our team and people in other teams as well. And it just gives a form of consistency for people so that when they're creating something, it would be very difficult for them to create something that kind of really wouldn't fit within the charity's kind of ethos or the charity's brand and look. So these are the templates that we have. And in terms of how you can actually use a template, so what you would do is you would toggle to this page. Say you wanted to use the Twitter and Facebook newsfeed template. So you'd want to use this if you wanted to make something for, say, Twitter. You want to create an image on Twitter. We're going to click this. You're going to have two options. Your two options are use this template or edit original. So you're not going to want to edit the original unless you want to actually change the template. On this occasion, you're going to want to use the template. So we're going to click use template. And that, as you can see, has created something called copy of Twitter and Facebook newsfeed post. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the name of this. So I'm just going to call this Twitter post 1. You might want to think about the kind of way that you structure the naming of your posts to make things super easy to find. But for the sake of argument, let's just call this Twitter post 1 for now. Now, as you can see, there's lots of things already in here that we can use. These are all kind of examples of the way that Shelter would use their brand for kind of branded posts. And then these can just kind of be edited as you see fit. So say instead of how to challenge a rent increase, you wanted to say how to challenge an eviction. And you'd be able to change that like so. Then when you're done, you'd hit the share button. What you can also do is say you only wanted to use this image. You could just go through the others and go, well, I don't want that one. Don't want that one. Just going to delete all the things from the template, copy, not the actual template, that are relevant to me at this moment in time. So I don't want to use a graph, for example, so I'm going to delete this as well. Then if I want to go to share, go here, download, gives you the options, how you want to download it. I'm going to go with PNG, and we're going to hit download, and voila, it's going to create the downloaded image, which I can then post on social media. So that's how you use a template. The way that you actually create a template is slightly different. So as we spoke about before, permissions, you can only create a template if you are an administrator or a template designer in Canva. So if you are a member of your team, but not an administrator or a template creator, that option is just not going to be available for you. But if you do have those permissions, you can create new templates whenever you like, and then you can get those added in to this bar so that they then appear within your templates like so. So let's very quickly look at how you do that. So that's really, really simple to do. Once you've made an image, say you've made this image that we made earlier on, and we want to make this into a template. We think, actually, this is a really good design that people could use for other stuff. Let's have this as a template. So you'd hit share. Instead of going to download, you go to more, and then you go to template. So not template link, template. That's then going to go to team templates. So you then share that. Oh, whoops. Let's just go back. Template, publish template. Design published as a template. So if we then go back to kind of the team's homepage in Canva and we refresh that, that template is then going to be sat there as a template for anyone else in your team to use at any point that you see fit. So how can we put everything that we've learned so far in this tutorial into practice to create some fantastic Giving Tuesday content for your charity? Well, luckily, what Giving Tuesday have already done is they've taken a lot of the work out of this for us. They've already worked with Canva on creating this series of awesome templates. So there's around 40 templates for different kind of print templates, digital templates, all your different social channels that you guys can use and completely customize for your charity, which is really, really good. It means that you're not having to go and source the Giving Tuesday logo from somewhere or the colour scheme or any of that stuff. All our work's been taken out. So this is really, really good. So as you can see, loads of different templates. We are not going to go through every single one. We're just going to focus on one, and then you can use the link to the side of this video, and that's going to take you to all of these templates and you can peruse as you wish to do so. So I'm going to pick this set of images. The reason I'm going to pick this is this would work well on social media for your likes of Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. So I'm going to click on this. When you click on this, it gives you the option to customize. Obviously, you're going to want to do that. Otherwise, what you've essentially got is just a template. And you're going to want to add your own key messaging, your logo, and your own images as well to make this a little bit more specific to your mission. So let's hit Customize Template. And that's going to take us to the template. So just like with any other design, this is fully customizable. So as a very quick example of that, you can hit delete if you decide, I don't like that border. So you can take that border out. You can change the background image. There are many, many different things you can do. We're not going to go through every single option just now, but we are going to very quickly create a design together. So say I wanted to create something for shelter for Giving Tuesday. So what I'd first look at doing is I would potentially change the font here. The reason I would do that is I'd want to make this more brand specific to shelter. So if you highlight that text, you can then go and select the fonts that your organisation would use. So as a quick example, let's go to Barlow, which is a font we use. We change it to that, and then we do the same with this date as well. Now this image is part of the template. We don't want to use that image, so I'm gonna hit delete on that image. We've still got the frame behind that image. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to uploads and we are going to select an image to use. So I think I'm going to go with this image, which is of 4 fundraisers fundraising within their local community. So I've clicked on that image, pulled it through to the design, and then I'm going to drag and drop into the frame. Now, what you can do as well is you can change the location of where this image kind of displays. So for example, if you wanted to mainly feature this lady and this gentleman, you could move it this way. In my case, I think I'm going to focus on this smiling man with his nice red bucket and the lady beside him as well. So then I'm going to hit done. And then I've got my image. I might actually zoom in on that a little bit just to make that a wee bit more impactful. Okay, so next up, I'm going to want to add the shelter logo. So how am I going to do that? Well, based on the brand toolkit that I showed you guys earlier, I'm going to go to logos and I am going to find our logo in here. So I think I'm going to go with this one. I've clicked on the shelter logo, it's pulled it into the design, and then I can just change the size of that. So depending on where I want that to sit, might want that to sit up here or maybe underneath the Giving Tuesday logo. I'm not 100% sure at this point exactly where that'll sit. That can give you a flavour of one of the many things that you can do. And that in a nutshell is how you would very quickly customise an image for Giving Tuesday. And then there's lots of other ones as well in this design as well. We've got Together We Give, Thanks for Giving, again Together We Give, and then Thanks for Giving again. So lots of different options for you to play about with, lots of different types of designs depending on what you want to do. There's also lots of space to add in your own kind of key messaging as well. So if there's a specific thing, a specific call to action, a specific thing that you're wanting people to do, in our case, we might talk about the housing emergency or fight for home. So we might add that in as an extra line as well. But that is kind of a general overview of one of the many things you could do with some of the Giving Tuesday templates. And here are some real life examples of what some charities have done for previous Giving Tuesdays. On the left, we've got an example by the Together Trust, and on the right, we've got an example by Be Free Young Carers. Both of these are relatively simple designs to create. What they'll have done is they'll have picked a really impactful image, and then they'll have added in some of their kind of key messaging, core text, their logo. In Be Free Young Carers case, they've also added in the Giving Tuesday logo as well. But these are both fantastic examples of what your charity could be creating for this Giving Tuesday. And that's the end of our session today. Thank you all very much for watching this tutorial on Canva Pro in conjunction with Giving Tuesday and Chartered Institute of Fundraising as well. As promised, the link to the application form for Canva non-profits, where you can get free access to Canva Pro for up to 10 members of your team. That link is at the bottom of this screen. Also at the bottom of this screen, you'll see my Twitter handle, which is @Rebecca_Curtis. If you've got any questions or you want to keep in touch, please give me a tweet and we can keep the conversation going there. But all there is left to say is thanks very much for listening and best of luck with your Giving Tuesday plans. Thanks.